going to be a priority. It seems very likely, but Impunity taking their time on this pick, making sure to consider all options before locking in their first ban. And honestly, it's a difficult ban to go for here.
What's also great for Impunity right here is that great ban with the Vox there so that you don't give it over to Ace Gaming. Have Creation play it. They won with it earlier. Creation is an amazing Vox player, but what I wanted to talk about is Impunity is on the B side, and so far, B side in the draft has had the higher win rate throughout the competition. So Impunity do have all they need. They have all the odds in their favor to win this match and go to game 5.
Yeah, and last time on the B side, they got that Baron, Lorelei, Arden comp. So Arden is going to be that first pick. They're following the pattern from last time. And let's see what they're going to decide to ban here. Potentially a Black Feather, because we saw how Tasa was on that Black Feather. And then instead, they're going to go for the Samuel target ban, which they did in game 1, and it didn't work out too well for them.
Yeah, but this time around, again, it's to make sure that they don't get the Lyra-Samuel combo of pairing it, especially with the Kestrel. That's what Ace Gaming does. That's how they beat Team Silva Mid earlier in the tournament, and it was a decisive victory for them when they got that composition. It is the most played and the strongest composition for Ace Gaming, so the ban here on Samuel is entirely justified.
At this point, what's open is the Black Feather and the Rona. Ace Gaming need to be careful about the Rona right here, because combined with the Arden into the Lyra, that is a very strong dive composition that has mortal wounds also to reduce the sustain and the healing coming out from the Lyra. They're going to ban the Batiste just because Immunity can pick that and flex it into the weapon power as well.
Yeah, Batiste taken off the table, and now Impunity have to decide what direction they want to go with this composition. Obviously, that Arden already locked in, but it's super versatile. You can play that in just about any composition, especially on 2.10. He has been probably the most picked captain across the course of the tournament.
Yeah, Black Feather is still open. We could see potentially a Black Feather being picked up, because if they don't take it, Ace is definitely going to take it, and we saw how great Tasa was on it. So I wonder if Impunity may potentially pull out their Celeste here, because QC has such a good Celeste, but then that's risky because Black Feather is still up.
Black Feather's still up, but they're going to take a Kroll blind. So many times we see Kroll come out as the final pick of a composition, but they are willing to grab it right here, even with something like Petal still available that can hard counter it.
Yeah, I mean, the Kroll pick right there is so that they can have their last pick available for the carries. Baron is still open, Celeste is still open. Both are extremely strong hyper carries for QC, so they're trying to bait Ace Gaming, or not bait, make them wonder which way they're going to try to go and have the option to flex their draft however they need.
Yeah, if you go for something like the Baron, you can run the Kroll with a Bone Saw. If you go for something like the Celeste, you just get yourself the Shiver Steel and just be a nuisance to your opponents. Ace Gaming definitely have a lot to think about as they round out their composition.
Right, because if they pick up Petal to counter the Crow, which is good, they don't have a lot of good weapon power carry. They can probably go with Sky Petal potentially here, because if they expect a Celeste pick from Impunity, and this is a comp that Impunity plays so well. So Sky's going to come out, potentially a Petal here, which is going to help them win the early.
Sky CP,
yes. Wow, CP Sky instead.
Yes, CP Sky is one of the old counter picks into the Kroll, because you have a much faster clear speed in the jungle. You're able to hyper level against them, even if you don't play aggressive. And later on in the team fights, you can just kite away. The Celeste throws a curveball at Ace Gaming, just because now you have a much longer range advantage that you can play with.
I feel like Ace made a mistake here. I mean, it's obvious that Impunity is going to take the Celeste, and I think a CP Sky is better or worse into a Celeste than a weapon Sky is.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they're going to try to dive into the Celeste later on in the game. They have to. With the Lyra portals, they have the tools to do it, but the Sky CP is pretty difficult at following up her damage on a backline carry.
Yeah, also keep in mind the CP Sky, it's all directional damage. A Kroll and an Arden are both phenomenal at body blocking that directional damage and helping to keep the Celeste safe.
All right, they are gearing up to get into this game. You can see the looks on the faces of the players. A lot of pressure on the shoulders of Impunity right now. They need to take this one if they want to keep their tournament lives alive. It's time to jump into our predictions. Araki Zoro, we'll start with you this time. Who's going to take it?
I'm going to go with Impunity. I want this series to go to Game 5 because the crowd is very hyped, and with that Celeste, as long as they protect her very well, she should be able to carry through with the damage.
Tasty Bacon.
I said on game 1, I was all in on Impunity. We're not turning back now. Game 5, let's do it.
I don't want to do the 3-0 curse, so I'm going to go with Ace.
All right, Sweet J wants the series over. Everyone else wants this to continue. Let's see if it's going to go to game 5. Let's pass it back up to Humanist and Dowsy.
Thank you very much, Munchables, and I'm loving the discussions on the desk right now, and Tasty Bacon's like, I've gone too far. I can't go back now. I'm all in. It's all Impunity. Dowsy, what are you thinking here?
I'm thinking that this is going to be an excellent game to test Impunity out. If they take this game, then they very much may just take the series, because the composition drafted by Ace Gaming is very threatening into them. If they're able to take it off, then that is pretty insane. Holy moly, the crowd is behind Impunity.
The crowd is behind us, technically, right now. Let's go! We're into the Halcyon Fold. Impunity's ready to tie this series up. Ace Gaming ready to close it out. Only time will tell.
Ace with their very consistent rotation into the middle of the map. Impunity not going to fall threat to that one just yet. Cruel with a Celeste can clear that jungle pretty speedily, but Ace recognizes they're not even going for that front treant. They just want to secure the Elder for themselves. There is a chance that Impunity just runs it into the jungle now. Doesn't look like they are going to based on Cote d'Ivoire's position. And so it's all about the lane. Creation at a position that's very difficult to deal with. Celeste can be a bit of a bully when you're a Rona. You're melee into massive range.
We don't like bullies around here. Do we, Dowsy?
I mean, it depends on which side you're supporting.
I guess that's true. I obviously, you see the strengths going both ways, but I almost wonder, are we going to see that situation as we get into like the mid game, late game, where we just see portals right on top of Celeste, portal into Bulwark, bring that Rona right in there and just spin to win?
Yeah, this is actually a composition that Impunity will recognize the one that they're playing, and the enemy's composition's almost similar.
Smited. It's a nice steal, Def Q. Look at the Elder Tree, and he's just going to boost himself there. And think about moving in. It's no big deal.
One of the games that Impunity were able to take off of Elite 8, throwing it all the way back to the Spring Championship
Back
of
into the
this
hands of time.
season, way back to the future, was this composition of Elira, a melee threat in the lane, and then a jungler that can just kind of have that mobility into a Celeste, into a Cruel. And it was Cote d'Ivoire with his mad scientist skills making builds that no one had seen before. And so Impunity, they're going to understand the win conditions of Ace all too well.
Oh, that's a nice stun into the combo, into the attack there out of Quasi.
The portal that can come out on towards the Celeste. The sigil that can be laid down underneath the Rona when she starts to be attacked by this Cruel. Makes things very difficult, and with the Sky to contain both Cruel and Celeste.
Ooh, Surrey forward. But Defq, he's going to grab that again now. Ace, kind of aggressive positioning. Bulwark will be on cooldown used creation. Takes a little chunk of damage out of Defq. Are they going to battle over this mid camp here? Once again, it goes the way of Impunity.
Oh,
Defq,
no.
dead man's rush in. Creation has to jump out of that one. And Impunity, I'm not sure they want to chase forward. They still have their jungle to clear, so they're not going to take that risk just yet.
What will Tassa prioritize as his first item here against a Cruel? Frostburn can be such a hard thing to deal with when you are that melee threat for Impunity. Often we see it prioritized for Sky on 2.10 for that exact reason, either first or second. The other item, of course, being a Dragon's Eye for that pure power you can stack up over time. Of course, they both build out of the same components here, Humanist. So it's a guessing game. I guess you can,
I like
guess
games.
it. Go on. Who's it going to be? Frostburn or Dragon's Eye? Flip a coin.
I would prefer to see the Dragon's Eye here myself.
I think I'm with you there. Early power spiking from the Dragon's Eye, then you build a Frostburn to contain. It can give you an early lead. I like it. Tassa, though, where are you at?
Tassa!
And maybe regretting that decision to move forward into the brush. You see Impunity very happy to just light this Sky up. And while Sky capable of doing a lot of damage and high mobility is incredibly squishy.
Very squishy, and there's a lot of CC to be chained from Impunity. From Hell's Heart into a core collapse. Oh, wow!
Foe Splitter tearing through Queesy's health bar there. Tasa jumping forward. Looking to get a little forward barrage down. And I guess maybe one of the reasons I'm leaning towards that Dragon's Eye is Quaterball on the front line can really tank up a lot of that damage. Deathq, Deadman's Rush onto Tasa. Does he have the smite? Smites him into the dirt for a first blood.
Unity just so brave, knowing they can play around Deathq's Cruel and Ace Gaming biting off more than they can chew. Minion Candy to secure the lane whilst QC and Deathq rotate out. It will be the healing camp so QC can stick around. Right now, Impunity are playing a game of scale. Let's get this Celeste into the late game. Let's get Deathq into a position where he can withstand the force. He's going towards the Sorrow Blade first. I wonder if he will prioritize a Poison Shift later on into this game. There's so much healing to be stopped from Youngju and from Creation's Rona as well. You can cut down that fortified health and make it easier for Queasy to tear through the front line.
That makes a lot of sense, but I actually kind of like that he's going for the Sorrow Blade first. I mean, if you're going to go for the Sky, you stick onto the Sky. Well, actually, really curious to see if he does prioritize leveling up his boots as well.
Yep.
I mean, you were talking about it earlier in the championship, I think day 1, day 2, about how good this Kroll is into the CP Sky.
I mean, in the early game, it is good. In the late game, that's when Sky takes over. It's a counter CP Sky because of the forward barrage. You can see the Frostburn from Tasa has been completed. He's looking to try and control the battleground first. Damage will come second. Deathq has his From Hell's Heart available, and Tasa's just shown his face.
Yeah, it's going to be, connects a max range into the core collapse. Wombo combo. They take him down. Second kill of the game for Impunity, 6 minutes in. They're knocking on the door of that turret there as well. Deathq will battle Youngju in the jungle for this mid. Youngju's got it.
Okay. Wow, look at that. That's such a strong combination. I talked about it earlier. And you've just seen it come through. Creation, he can't even deal with Queasy because Quatevoir is the captain protecting his Celeste. Impunity want to reverse sweep, and they have the lead in the early game. It's 1,000 gold. And right now, Queasy is just sitting a level away from level 8. That overdrive on your Helo Genesis allows you to have such range advantage, especially against this Rona. Throw those Helo Genesis down from far. Take your time to build a minefield, and then Supernova does so much damage. You see the Eve of Harvest for Queasy. It's an item that SEA loves. Sustain and energy regeneration means they can fight forever, and we know that SEA, they like to brawl.
Definitely like to brawl, throwing blows here early in this one. That's working out for them pretty well. Across the board, though, Tasa, will he be going into the Eve himself?
Looks like he's going towards a Clockwork, so he has damage, but Deathq's not scared of no one. The Clockwork is very clearly the flavor item for these CP heroes of this tournament. You have a Clockwork, you have a Clockwork, everyone has a Clockwork. Turret, wow.
Goodbye, Turret. There's a stun on the Youngju. The core collapse as well. They have the combo, forcing the fountain now. Now Queasy, though, he's been caught out. Creation trying to trade. The gauntlet's down. They've lost Queasy. Now Quaterball, he's going to try and get in cahoots here with Deathq. Deathq down in the jungle, trying to let the Shadows empower him. Vanguard is going to keep Quaterball alive for quite a while. Deathq waiting, biding his time. He wants Tasa. He'll use the Dead Man's Rush, the healing flask out of Tasa. He's waiting for the Spectral Smite, but he does not have it ready to go. Tasa, with Creation, able to find that kill. Ace Gaming suddenly up 3-2.
Turret take was good for Impunity, but they did not plan their escape, and they walked straight into Tasa's Sky with that Frostburn early, able to control the battleground so easily. Death from above caught out Queasy, and now Impunity looking to lose their turret as a result. Ace, do not leave empty-handed, and that gold lead that Impunity had is now lost.
Impunity worked so hard and through the early game.
Wow, okay. That is a crazy purchase coming through.
A little TT.
Hello, TT. It's a crit Rona build. That is unseen here in the World Championship so far. Usually you get that Serpent's Mask first, build it into a breaking point, and just sustain throughout the team fights. But Creation says, no, I want to take down Quisi as quickly as possible, and he's just going to be stacking his crit.
It's actually really smart, I think, if we break it down a little bit, because you talked about when you spin through the red mist, suddenly you become a much easier target to land that core collapse on. But if you're dancing around with like Foe Splitter using that movement speed, it's actually incredibly smart. Brilliant, you might say.
We'll have to see if it does work out. It's something a little bit off the cusp. The Creation is known for just dominating in the lane. Impunity trying to start the gold miner, trying to force a fight, trying to force Ace Gaming down to them. But Ace might just look to push the lane. Quantify is taking a lot of damage.
Oh, are they going to steal that gold mine? Oh, they hold it just long enough. Defq able to secure that one up. They find the stun on Youngju. He's not able to block it off. The Solar Storm tears on through. And then it's a nice portal out, but Youngju most likely goes down. I think Defq can chase him down in a second. He's going to wait for the shadows to empower him. But up in the lane, it's Tasa taking a lot of damage. Creation, though, has he gone too far? 703 damage. That Supernova blowing him up. Tasa's going to try and get back with the Heliogenesis doing good work. I think they're going to have to respect the fact that they cannot chase up to this guy just yet.
Objectives traded back and forth. You could argue that a gold miner at this point in the game is more important than a turret. There's only limited amount of times you can take the gold miner. The turrets will remain until you take them this entire time. Consider them standing gold because they don't go anywhere. So Impunity are looking to try and take the gold lead. Power up this Celeste. 3 damage items now. Likely going to go into a Clockwork next. So he can spam those Heliogenesis, get the Supernovas out. The core collapse can come up far more often.
Now, Impunity, they looked really good in that, through that last engage, right? But Youngju, let's be real, he made a mistake there. He used his block just a little bit too late. He saw that from Hell's Heart coming, he was stunned up, suddenly his team was split apart. It does feel like it's going to be a much different story if Youngju can use these activatables at the right time. And if he blocks off one of these big stuns, suddenly it can get flipped around very quickly.
I mean, Youngju is the key to the lock. Open up the Impunity composition, allow this Rona to just tear through the Celeste, allow Sky to get up close and personal so she can dance around with a Series Strike and the forward barrages. Ace need to make sure their focus is clean and they take out Quisi as quickly as possible. That death from above.
That was a very nice placement there. I actually like that.
Don't go for the execute though. Impunity very much brave, knowing that they can just wait. They have the Gauntlet, they have the Hell's Heart, they have all the CC. But they're trying to find it onto Tasa, the main target. Because of Creation's build, this crit build, he's actually nowhere near as tanky as Arona normally is. I wonder if Impunity will look to punish that. Nowhere near going to be generating any sustained health. The fortified health generations not going to be as quickly. The ramp up over a team fight just doesn't exist. Maybe they can punish this Rona build from Creation.
They'll find the stun. The block's not there. The gauntlet will come down. Tasa Suris, he's right back in. He wants to go aggressive. Creation has to jump out of this one. Oh, a second gauntlet. Hey, that's pretty good. Defq, he's on to Tasa. Tasa takes a wild ride through the portal. Look at those double attacks coming out as Quisi's Celeste basic attacks just following through. Can't run away from those. And Impunity stand their ground. Very impressive. Yeah, holding their fountain, holding their crucible.
And they're going to push the turret now. Like you mentioned, the crucible and the fountain are up. Ace Gaming can't go for a fight, so it's an objective 1. Impunity, a fantastic rotation. Ace Gaming trying to take the gold miner.
It's a slow take as well. The flare's out. They know what's happening here. Oh, almost stolen by Quaterbaugh. Now Defq, he's going to try and reposition back into the brush. Creation jumps in, gets the Foe Splitter. Oh, wow. He's on to Quisi, but a nice turnaround here. Look at the Heliogenesis coming through.
3, 2, 1.
Defq, can he find the stun? Who's the target going to be here? Tasa. Tasa split apart. He's going to Series Strike. Gets stunned up! And now the reflex, a little too late. Solar Storm tearing on through another Suri right into the forward barrage, but it's not enough. That kill goes over to Quisi. Quisi now 3-1-1. As we approach the 14-minute mark of this game, Impunity up 4-3. a very small net worth advantage, but you feel the momentum going their way.
And it's not often I want to criticize the builds of players because these guys are just so good. But I have to question what's going on with Ace Gaming here. A crit Rona does not sustain against a Cruel. It is not tanky enough to survive against the burst of a Celeste. Tassa does not have a Dragon's Eye. He has no sustained damage. These team fights are lasting far too long for Ace Gaming to be able to burst. And we're in a sustained meta here, Humanist. It is all about survival. That's why Arden and Cruel are so good, because they can stay alive for so long and they bridge that gap for the Celeste as well. DefQ feeling so confident to charge at this guy because without a Dragon's Eye, he can actually take the damage. Now as Shiver Steel has been purchased by DefQ, he's going to be able to slow down either Creation or Tassa and make sure that Queasy is as safe as possible.
Yeah, this is really, really smart. For the reasons the analysts talked about, obviously, eventually Sky will be good into this Krull, but
no.
That's done, and they're late on the block again. They get comboed up, taken down. Right as the Kraken spawns.
Oh, hello.
Creation, he's going deep, pulling the Dienzio here. Solar Storm dodged out. Very nice job, actually, by Creation to get something done across the map.
Will he take another? Channels the backport, minions stop him. Kraken going to be taken out. Creation just going to hold his ground and backport home.
Youngju.
No, he's sticking.
Can Youngju steal this potentially? He throws out the sigil just a little too early. He's going to move and try to go with the bulwark. Oh, not able to get it. Arcane Passage forced out. He will get back, but that is a Kraken take for Impunity.
Wow. Ace Gaming seeming to crumble right now under the immense pressure of closing out a game. They struggled against Pain yesterday to close out their series, and they took it to 5. The Brazilians everywhere cheering their team on. Ace were finally able to find their feet. But against Impunity right now, with a home crowd advantage as well, what a tough task for Ace to come back. Impunity looking strong. This Celeste so dangerous in choke points.
All right, we'll find a stun onto Creation. That won't be available, but will it even matter? Look at that Supernova just ripping on through here. And it's a whole different story with what we're seeing out of this Rona. I mean, normally you see the red mist start spinning, you got some lifesteal, and you say, oh, this is a very durable hero, but it just doesn't feel like it here.
Well, there is just no sustain. It's all about very quick damage, and you notice that whilst that Kraken was being danced around by Impunity, Creation showed off the very quick turret taking control that a full crit melee build provides. It's something that Impunity will have to be very wary of. They've already been backdoored once in this series. To be backdoored twice would be such a shame. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Other way around.
We're playing games out here. What are we going to do, right? Impunity are in a great place. They have the superior positioning. They have the advantage. And barring some really sneaky plays out of Ace, which we know they're known for, it looks like Impunity are going to be tying this one up. DefQ, he moves in. Creation turns around, pops him there with that bow splitter. Now, all of a sudden, Tassa. Whoa, they got right on top of him. The boomerang not going to connect. The gauntlet is down. DefQ falls. The second kill. Quaterva, he will fall as well. Dowsey.
This is so hard now. Quaterva has to survive, but he will not be able to. The Ace will come through from Ace, and these turrets will not last a second against the full crit Rona. How quick can Creation get to the base?
He grabs the journey boots. He's got the journey boots. He will be moving forward. He's activated them. Tassa clearing out the lane minions. Queasy will be spawning. He's over the wall. He's over the wall. He's onto the first main crystal turret. They're onto the second. Impunity are respawning. It looks like Ace, if they can clear this out and survive. Creation can't get out. He goes down. Impunity with Queasy. He's onto him. DefQ from Elzard. Onto Tassa. Tassa put it into the dirt. Rip him up. Tear him down. The gauntlet, it will miss, but it looks like Impunity have taken what they needed. Oh! Ace almost closed this game out.
Queasy with a monster play. That is a world championship play. Impunity are here to play. And right now the Kraken will be their reward, Humanist. Ace so close to taking a series through an excellent execution. On to Queasy.
Man.
So close yet so far, no cigar. Oh, Impunity.
Okay, look at interesting pathing through the jungle area. I felt like Creation maybe was getting some sneaky right off the bat, but DefQ was already there. They've sniffed it out. Impunity begin to bear down upon Ace Gaming.
He wants the backdoor.
You know he wants the backdoor. The question is, can his team get in position? Well, you know what? The Sky is actually really good at stopping backports. She's so incredibly mobile. Like, you don't even have to do the damage. Queasy, though, sniffs it out. If Queasy's not there, though, he can get back and take through this Kraken incredibly quickly.
The one thing is Sky is really bad at taking down Krakens, and so a decision has to be made on whether they execute. Quite a while is going to try and chase him, but they need a backball. You can't race him.
You
there.
can't get that.
He
He's going to boot.
Wall.
He's going over the wall. He's going to go over the wall here. The portal forward. Is he going to be the foe splitter? He's onto the Vein Crystal. Quantabaw's there. What's going to happen? Creation, he's there. The basic attack. Oh, no!